What's going on, Cougar fans? And it's game day here in River Forest as your Concordia University Chicago Cougars get set to take on the Green Knights of St. Norbert College. Captain Kirk here, joined by the vigilante of Hell's Kitchen himself, Daredevil, and we're going to be on the Cougar Sports Network for you today, bringing you the presentation of this Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference matchup between the Cougars and the Green Knights. And Daredevil, let's get into a little bit of the specifics of this matchup. First, for the Cougars, they're coming off a huge 28-27 win against Eureka last week, their first win of the season. And Parker, to say it was a thriller would be very much undervaluing what that game was.
No, football is a game of inches, and that's what's so beautiful about the sport. The Cougars were actually trailing by 17 points at halftime, and then they outscored the Red Devils 21-3 in the second half, led by Jacob Redmond, who had 4 touchdowns in that game. It was a thrilling, exciting victory for the Cougars, and they hope that win propels them forward in the back half of the regular season.
Yeah, Eureka's game-winning field goal just a couple inches away from going in, doinked off the left upright of the far field goal, So it was a thrilling win for the Cougars. And you mentioned Jacob Redmond, Parker, and I do want to talk about him a little bit. 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown coming for all CUC's touchdowns. And one of his favorite receivers from that game and all season has been the man wearing number 0 today, Chase Levi.
Yeah, Chase Levi, we've talked about him so much. He's just so dynamic, so explosive with the ball in his hands. He ranks second in the NAC in average yards per carry, and he's a receiver. So he can get it really done in all aspects, and the Cougars are so happy to have the transfer this season, and he's done some great things for this team.
Chase Levi, such an explosive player. Watch out for that Redmond-Levi connection that we're going to see today. In the MAC right now, behind Wisconsin Preds. Between that got the win over CU last weekend. Another thriller game like we had here in River Forest. A 13-7 win for the Green Knights.
Second highest scoring team in the NAC. St. Norbert was able to win it from the 7 points, so that just goes to show you how solid up front this defense is. Led by linebacker Sam Barnett. He is one of those downhill runners. He's able to stick his nose in there and really explode at the line of scrimmage. He's been a great player for this team all year.
As good as their defense is, and as good as in general, they're ranked second in the preseason poll for the most defensive line. They just have a difficult time being able to stop those pressures of their quarterback.
Yeah, they're really big up front, and they have a lot of size, but they've allowed the second most sacks in the year with 22, and that offensive line is going to have to step up big time today, in addition to CUC's defensive line and trying to generate some more pressure.
Now, as troublesome as that line might have been at some point, it's done little to stifle their run game. They have one of the best two-headed monsters in the rushing game this year in the NAC.
Absolutely. They have that 1-2 punch where they have a running back that offers, that speed element, and then they have a more physical running back. And both of that running back tandem has just been great for the Green Knights, and that's really their bread and butter on offense, much like CUC.
All right, well, let's talk about some history really quick. St. Norbert joined the NAC just 2 seasons ago, so these two teams have only played each other twice, and CUC lost both of those games. And Parker, St. Norbert, has been pretty dominant over the Cougars in their short shared history.
Yeah, since joining the conference back in 2021, they have outscored the Cougars 88-0. This is a Cougars team that has not scored a single point versus that Green Knights team, and they really look to flip the script here this afternoon.
All right, well, Parker, in order for the Cougars to flip the script and get their first win over St. Norbert in their final home game of the 2023 season, what needs to happen for the Cougars? What is your key to success for CUC today?
I know this is a CUC team who really loves to run the football, but they need to air it out a little bit more. Utilize players like Chase Levi, like Henry Jones, who's a speedier threat down the field. This is a weaker St. Norbert secondary, and they really need to take advantage of that this afternoon.
Right. Well, my key to the game is all about pressuring the quarterback of St. Norbert. CUC ranks towards the bottom of the NAC in sacks total right now. But like we said, Parker, St. Norbert's line a little suspect at times, so CUC could be a good game to get those sacks in action. They had 2 last week against Eureka. Hopefully we see that defensive momentum carry over to today against St. Norbert, but it's going to be a good one here in the 2023 home finale for the Cougars. They're welcoming the Green Knights of St. Norbert College. Daredevil and I will be on the call with you on the Cougar Sports Network in just a bit. That'll start at 1 p.m. But first, we're going going to have the national anthem and the the national anthem and the starting prayer. But first, before all that, a special message from President of CUC, Dr. Russell Dawn.
What's going on, Cougar fans? Welcome to another week's edition of CUC Football Weekly. I'm Parker Kelly with the Cougar Sports Network, and I'm once again joined by head football coach Andy Lambert. Coach, happy Friday. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. Last week, the Cougars got their first win over the season over Eureka College, 28-27. It was a thrilling win, one that came down to the wire. It's a game of inches. That's one of the great things about football. How does that win really propel this team in the back half of the regular season?
Well, we'll see. I think, the emotion was just fantastic, and just the way that it ended with the boink off the upright. It was just literally until the last inch you didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So, I think it was super enjoyable, and we played kind of that game that we have talked about. We did have the one turnover and then a punt return that they got deep. So, but other than that, we didn't make those major mistakes. The defense was so good in the red zone, like crazy good. I think coming off of that, you just hope that you can carry that through and play with that kind of juice, this weekend. So we'll see. Practice was, early on I think lacked some energy, which is strange if you think about it, but, maybe not so much if you've been at this for a long time. But we practiced much better, on Wednesday and Thursday. And so I think we'll come out with good running around energy today in our run through. But that's going to be important, that we do capture the momentum. And it's been strange because we've had momentum even in those losses the last couple weeks. That's a long answer to say. I sure hope so. I sure hope we can build on that and play really well early on Saturday.
And you were talking about that red zone defense. This was a game that Eureka led 24-7 going into halftime, and then the Cougars outscored the Red Devils 21-3 in the second. And that red zone defense was phenomenal. And the offense was led by Jacob Redmond, who had 3 touchdowns in the second half. Yeah. How would you describe your team's second half performance?
Well, obviously the outcome of the performance was fantastic. I think one of the critical time frames was the second quarter, where our defense did, I think we went held them to a field goal, then we got a turnover, or we turned it over, we got a stop for no points, and then they missed a field goal in that stretch. That was really what allowed us to even be in the game at halftime. I don't know. We didn't have to make a lot of adjustments. We didn't give any fiery halftime speeches. They just came out, and sometimes a team, if they work hard at it, throughout all the games at trying to be in that place to come out and win that first 6 minutes of the second half, which we really haven't done yet this year. But you got to keep trying, right? You got to keep coming out with that mindset, and eventually it's going to pay off, right? And it did on Saturday.
And you were talking about in our post-game interview how the team was very internally motivated. They sure looked that way in the second half, for sure.
Yeah. So, who knows, right? This collective momentum and confidence that people get, it just sometimes happens, but that's why you have to keep trying hard, right? That's why you have to keep believing and keep hope alive and stay bought in, because if you don't do that, then it never will, that momentum never will catch. And so, but it really did. I think it's just crazy how breaks can motivate. And so that first drive of the second half, we ended up getting that play on fourth down. They jumped on that punt, and then they roughed Troy, the punter. But that extended the drive, and then we go ahead and score. But it was really good football. The second half, we played the best football that half, since I've been here, against a relatively good team. So I think that's really, a symbol of what's to come. It's a little bit what we talked about after the game. Is the best is yet to come, right? We've just got to hold tight and don't flinch.
And let's go ahead and talk about tomorrow. So the Cougars are welcoming a St. Norbert College team who is not the same team that we've seen in previous years. They're still very solid. So it's going to be a tough opponent for the Cougars, but the Cougars were able to create a little momentum Saturday. So what is the strategy going in tomorrow's big game versus the Green Knights?
Yeah, again, we limit any major mistakes, right? I think, even if you go back to all the way back to probably Greenville, right? Like, I think we talked about this last week, where just limit the major mistakes. Don't hit the ball in the net. You're a golfer. You golf. Don't hit the ball out of bounds, right? Don't take penalty strokes. So that has to be the number one goal going in. And then I think right now we really have a lot of confidence that we can make plays. Like, we can get some chunks, get the ball downfield, and so I think both of those combinations. And then the defense on the other side really not giving up major plays, right? So I think that narrative has flipped, or is beginning to flip, where now we feel like, okay, we can grab 50 yards in a single play at times, and our defense is not going to give those up, right? And so that's been a long 2.5-year process, but I think that's what you saw for most of the game on Saturday. And that's what we need to see against St. Norbert, yeah.
Well, I know Peter and I will both be on the call tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Coach, thank you for your time today, and good luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
And make sure to check out the Cougars as they host St. Norbert College. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m., and coverage can be found on our athletics website at cucougars.com/coverage. I'm Parker Kelly signing off, and we'll see you next week on CUC Football Weekly. Go
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
The national anthem has been played and the opening prayer has been said as we get set for some Cougar football here in River Forest as your CUC Cougars taking on the Green Knights of St. Norbert College. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined as always by Parker Kelly. And Parker, it's going to be a good test for the Cougars today. A St. Norbert team who they've only played each other 2 times, but St. Norbert handling the Cougars quite effectively in both of those games coming into today. CUC, they're sitting at a 1-6, 1-4 record. That one win came last week against Eureka, while St. Norbert 5-3, 4-2 in conference play. They're currently sitting up at 3rd in the NAC. Parker, final home game of the 2023 season as well. And, the Cougars down there, especially after what they did last week, are looking to send fans home happy that they got to see one more Cougar win here at home.
Yeah, looking to go out with a bang for sure. Final home game of the regular season. Thrilling win over Eureka College last week. They have a tough task on their hands today. St. Norbert coming in ranked 3rd in the conference, right behind Concordia, Wisconsin. St. Norbert, a great defensive team, and the CUC offense, who has struggled at times this year, going to have a rough task on their hands, but they're looking to make a statement in River Forest this afternoon.
We see St. Norbert taking the field, setting up for the kick return. CUC deferring after the opening coin toss. St. Norbert primary returner is number 80, Austin Miller. See him jumping up in the air right now. Also being joined near the end zone by number 30, Owen Kudik, the starting running back for the Green Knights. As Ryan Auer, the CUC kicker, gets set and unleashes the first kickoff of today's game. Miller comes up, makes the catch, puts a move, misses one tackler, now finds a hole and is brought to the ground. That was by number 11 for CUC, Wesley Jackson, special teamer for the Cougars. And now St. Norbert rolling out the number 3 offense in the NAC right now, 26.1 points per game, and they'll get first crack in today's game to score.
Yeah, nice job by number 80, Austin Miller, on the return, really getting north and south, not moving as much east to west, setting up this Green Knights offense with excellent starting field position. And let's see what the Cougars defense can do against a third-ranked offense.
Well, Cougars offense, they're ranked 9th in the NAC, giving up 45.4 points per game, as St. Norbert's first play of the game is a good rush there by the running back, number 30. That is Kudik, senior out of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Owen Kudik, so good with the ball in his hands. 577 rushing yards coming into today's game, ranking 3rd in the NAC. St. Norbert has a great 1-2 punch. I'm sure we'll see number 3, Delton Zuliger, later, but good start for them.
Kudik gets the ball again, pushes through a hole. He'll get stopped short of a first down, however, just short. And they're going to give it to him, in fact, saying he crossed the line. CUC able to put up a wall right at the first down marker, but referees say Kudik just crossed it, and that'll give St. Norbert a fresh set of downs to work with. Their first down of the day.
Very generous spot by the refs up here in the booth. Thought it was going to be 3rd and inches, but referees thought otherwise, and they give St. Norbert the first down, their first down of the afternoon.
Starting quarterback, for the Green Knights, as he gives it off to Kudik again, who will get a couple yards out of it. Starting quarterback is Peyton Lyon, the sophomore out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And
this is a very run-heavy Green Knights offense. Don't expect them to throw the ball necessarily a whole lot this afternoon, as their running attack is their bread and butter.
But the thing is, this team is capable of throwing it as well. 142 rushing yards a game, that's 5th. 210.9 passing yards per game, that is also 5th in the conference. So a well-rounded offense, even if they like to go a little bit rush-heavy. As Kudik, he's going to have a first down and a little bit more. Breaks a tackle from Damari Grant, finally brought down as St. Norbert cruising their way down the field. They're within the CUC 36-yard line.
And that's what Kudik really brings to the table. He's more of the speedier back out of the 1-2 punch that the Green Knights bring to the table, but he's also good in the receiving game. We see right there getting the screen to Kudik and letting him do the rest. Green Knights picking up another first down.
And they're going to give it to Kudik again. Why try to fix something that ain't broke, as he's able to get roughly 4 yards out of it. Yeah, Kudik, 5'7", 185. Speed man, as Parker said, while Zuliger, who we haven't had to call yet, 5'11", 200. So a bit of a bigger body to plow through some of those tacklers, while Kudik relying more on his shiftiness.
Zuliger, more of a running back that they like to utilize in the red zone, but St. Norbert off to a great start, and now that's 5 touches we've seen from Kudik all to start the game. They're wanting to get him the ball early.
Well, they give him touch number 6 as he finds a hole around the corner, stiff arms a Cougar, and is pushed out of bounds. Took Marvin rushing to the ground, as Kudik running all over the CUC defense right now. They do not have much of a solution for number 30 in white as he trots off the field, and Delton Zuliger trots on.
Yeah, and that's not something you see often, Marvin rushing, getting stiff-armed, but what a great job of Kudik really utilizing his vision, bouncing it to the outside, and continuing to move the sticks. This Green Knights offense has had no trouble marching right down the field on their opening drive.
So it's Delton Zuliger in the backfield now for St. Norbert, as he's going to get his first touch for the day. A wide open hole as he's able to pick up quite a gain. He's going to come just 2 yards short of the first down. Delton Zuliger, first touch, and he makes the most out of it.
And, Peter, we talked about in the pregame how this offensive line has really struggled allowing sacks. They've allowed 22, which is the second most in the conference. But right now they're showing that they're so good in the run game, opening up these holes for the running back duo.
And they give it back to Zuleger, and he's going to jump and jive his way into the end zone. Delton Zuleger avoiding tackles left, right, and center, marches in for a touchdown. First score of today's game, courtesy of the Delton Zuleger rush.
And it's exactly what I said. They love to utilize Zuleger in the red zone. He gets in there for his 11th touchdown of the season, which ranks second in the conference. That running attack so strong for the Green Knights to start out. They only passed the ball one time on that drive.
Man, it was a short little dump to Kudik at that. Not really much of a pass downfield at all. So they utilize their dual-headed monster in the backfield of Kudik and Zuleger, and they're going to come away with an opening drive touchdown. Point after is good, and because of that, St. Norbert is going to go up 7-0, as you can see the replay of the Zuleger touchdown. Gets the hand off from Lyon and just cuts his way through holes into in and over the goal line. And because of it, St. Norbert strikes first here. They're up 7-0 on the Cougars. Cougars ready for their first offensive possession when we're back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, visit cucougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game. Go Cougars!
St. Norbert set to kick it off, and doing the kicking for the Green Knights is number 49. That is Dylan Anderson. At least that's who 49 is on our roster. Not listed as a kicker, so interesting kicking situation for the Green Knights. But no matter who's kicking, it just means that CUC will get their first offensive possession of the day. And Parker, this is a CUC team who they get struck against first in a lot of their games. They let up early points quite frequently in their games, and at points they've had troubles catching up to those early punches. But against Eureka last week, their first and only win of the season so far, we see the difference in that they got punched in the mouth first, yes, but they're able to come back.
No, that second half comeback was phenomenal, outscoring the Red Devils 21-3. It's going to be really important to see how this offense responds after getting hit in the mouth early.
And brought down for a loss of yardage is number 31. That is Sincere Best. Best had a good game last week against Eureka, 75 rushing yards. He was elevated to the first running back position after an injury to Joran Brown, who is listed on today's roster. We'll have to see if he actually is going to be on the field. We haven't seen him yet.
I see Brown in his tracksuit on the sidelines. I believe he was questionable coming into this game. I thought personally he was going to play, but coaches decided not to, and we're going to see Sincere Best a lot.
Well, he gets the hand off there, and he's able to pick up some yards. Gets back past the first line of scrimmage and picks up an additional 2 on top of that, an additional 4 on top of that, excuse me. So a good rush there. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Cougars. 6-yard rush from Best.
And expect a very smash-mouth style of football today. These are two teams that love to run the football, don't rely as much on the passing attack, and also have had to rely on their defense at several points this season. So it should be a very traditional knack-style matchup.
Jacob Redmond under center for the Cougars. A sophomore quarterback steps back. Now he has to roll out, and Redmond's just going to get rid of that on the sideline, and that'll bring up 4th down and the punt unit for CUC. Cougars unable to move the chains on their first drive of the game, and now St. Norbert, they'll get a chance to strike again here.
And that wasn't necessarily the outcome that the Cougars hoped for, but it was a smart play by Redmond. And we see he's only a sophomore, and he got his first start earlier this season. But a really wise move by him, just really tossing that ball out of bounds. He had nowhere to go with the football, and it's better to punt the ball back to St. Norbert than putting the ball in harm's way. Nice job by Jacob Redmond.
The punt from Troy Pratley takes a couple bounces and goes out just past the St. Norbert 35. I think they'll officially rule it on the 37-yard line. And that means St. Norbert and their running back duo of Kudik and Zuleger, they're going to get another chance to make some noise after scoring a touchdown on their opening drive.
We're going to see Zuleger get the first start here in the second possession for St. Norbert. And I expect them to really rely on him heavily as he had the hot hand towards the end of that first drive.
First play of this drive is a fake, and then just throwing it into the ground was Peyton Lyon. Short-armed that one, not able to get it to his receiver, and because it will be 2nd down and 10.
That's something that the sophomore quarterback, Lyon, has really struggled with this year is his accuracy. He's only completing less than 57% of his passes right there. Just didn't look like he had his feet set, and that was supposed to be an easier dump-off on the bubble route, just not able to get it to his receiver, Miller.
And now bulldozing his way through a couple Cougars was Zuleger, unable to break the double team, however. Kudos to those Cougar defenders. Zuleger, who we've already talked about, a powerful running back, lowered the shoulder, lowered the helmet, so I'm going to plow through this wall, only able to get a yard out of it.
And that's what he really offers and brings to the table, a bigger running back listed at 5'11", 200 pounds. And now we see Owen Kudik making his way back into the game. So this offers a different dimension to this offense.
They need 9 for a first down. Lyon hands it off to Kudik, a delayed handoff. Kudik tries to spin around the defenders. He can't. Brought down by a few Cougar defenders. Wesley Jackson was really the first man in, number 11 for CUC.
And even though they weren't able to pick up the first down, it just shows the confidence they have in running the football, running it on 3rd and 9. And they're just a few yards short, but that just goes to show how much confidence they have in their ability to run the football.
So coming out to punt now, number 29, Tyler Jurgensen. So he gets the snap, takes his time, and unleashes a good punt there. Henry Jones IV was back to receive for CUC. Instead, he's going to let this one roll, and it's all the way to the Cougars' 12-yard line. Great punt there from Jurgensen as they pin the Cougars deep in their own half of the field. And now CUC's offense, they'll get another chance here to pick up some momentum after going 3 and out in their first drive.
Yeah, really nice punt right there from Mason LeVake. Got a nice St. Norbert bounce, and this is a Cougars team who does not return the football a whole lot when being punted to. We see Henry Jones, the primary returner, 2 returns for 4 yards. So this is a team that just settles with the fair catch, and they want to let their offense do the rest of the work.
So Redmond back under center for CUC as they put a man in motion. It was Gavin Dace, and that pass is not received. Intended receiver was Jace Levi. I don't think Levi was ever looking at the ball. He was dealing with his defender.
I'm not sure if the receiver was Jace Levi or Gabe Dace. It was kind of hard to tell. It looks like it was an intended screen pass, just a miscommunication between Redmond and the receivers. Not exactly sure who that ball was intended to.
Gabe Dace, the hero of last week's win against Eureka, caught the game-winning touchdown with less than a minute to go. Put the Cougars, tied the game, and then the Ryan Hour extra point put the Cougars up by 1. That's what they ended up winning by, 28-27.
Very clutch moment from the freshman for sure.
As Redmond is going to carry this one, he gets stood up. Number 50, we mentioned him in the pregame show, Sam Barnett, says you aren't going anywhere to the sophomore. And that's going to bring up 3rd down now.
CUC going to have to do an excellent job of neutralizing Sam Barnett, the 2-time NAC Player of the Week for defense. He's so good at being able to fill those gaps and stopping the running attack. It was designed quarterback draw for Redmond, and Sam Barnett just filling that A gap and shutting that play down.
3rd down and 8 for the Cougars. As they hand the ball off to Best. Best able to pick up a couple of yards, not nearly enough for the first down, however, and that's going to bring up 4th down for CUC.
Not a good start offensively for the Cougars. We mentioned that they were going to have to get the offense going against a pretty stout defensive team in St. Norbert. That's now 2 straight 3 and outs, and now they're punting the ball right back to Austin Miller.
Austin Miller back to receive the kick. As it takes a couple bounces, Miller backs off, lets the Cougars special teamers down this one at St. Norbert's 44-yard line. And Parker, after the opening touchdown from St. Norbert, we really haven't seen signs of life from anyone's offense. Cougars 2 straight 3 and out, St. Norbert 3 and out of their own.
And I was surprised by that second drive from St. Norbert after moving the ball with such ease on the opening possession, really struggling to get anything going on that second drive. Let's see how they're able to run this third drive now as we see 20 personnel out on the field, 2 running backs, no tight ends.
They're going to hand it off to Zuliger. He's brought down before the line of scrimmage, loss of 1. Trayvon Thomas, who else for the Cougars defense in on the tackle. And as much as we've been talking about Sam Barnett, Parker, the Cougars have an own stud linebacker of their own in Trayvon Thomas.
49 total tackles coming into this game. He's been so solid. The junior from Wauchula, Florida, also 4.5 tackles for loss. And this is a player that is very experienced, knows this defensive system. Expect for him to make a huge impact on today's game.
Second down and 11 for St. Norbert. Line, a delayed handoff there for Zuliger. He's got plenty of room to run. He's going to get the first down and a little more. Dylan Zuliger pulls out the speed. It's a 13 or so yard rush for the first down, and St. Norbert able to move the chains for the first time since their first drive of the game.
Delton Zuliger, more of a power back, but showing that he also has a little bit of a speed element to his game, getting past a couple of defenders and picking up the first down.
So first down and 10 for St. Norbert on the Cougars' 40-yard line as they're going to hand this one off to Zuliger again, brought down after a gain of 4. Ryan Auer, one of the jerseys in on the tackle for the Cougars, number 7.
And I can't help but point out that we've still only seen 2 passes from quarterback Peyton Lyon.
And none of them went past, 5 yards?
Yeah,
whatever the first pass attempt, which so they picked up 15 yards, but it was only really a 4-yard pass. As now here is that man who received the pass. Kudik shrugs off a tackle, but it pushes him out of bounds. Marvin Russian having a bit of a tough day so far to start this game. Has got stiff-armed and then took an absolute shoulder on that one. Russian still did his job, however, able to push Kudik out of bounds. As you see the replay here, the big collision between the junior safety for the Cougars and the senior running back for the Green Knights.
That Cougars front 7 just so young up front, and they're having such a hard time really stopping that running attack.
They give it back to Kudik. He stops and then tries to plunge through a hole. He's brought down after a gain of just a yard or 2.
And Peter, we mentioned in the pregame that since joining the conference in 2021, St. Norbert in their 2 matchups versus Concordia has outscored the Cougars 88-0. This is a Cougars team that has yet to score a single point against St. Norbert as they look to flip the tide, but St. Norbert already on their way to potentially scoring their second touchdown.
And now we're going to get a timeout here. So that'll be a timeout for St. Norbert as they're going to talk things over. They got second down and 4 yards to go until they cross the goal line for the second time today. They're up 7-0 on the Cougars. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a second.
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the field. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some of the great Cougar football moments. Thank you and enjoy the game.
Back here on the Cougar Sports and Network, timeout. Our done as St. Norbert trying to punch in their second touchdown of the day. And Parker, it seems that the Green Knights just perfectly content with running all over the CUC defense, but they did do their research because the rush defense for the Cougars is the weaker part of the team.
Yeah, they ranked 9th in the NAC out of 9 teams, allowing 253 rush yards a game, as we see the touchdown right here.
As Kudik able to stop and go, slows down and accelerates into the end zone, able to get away from a couple tacklers, and he'll have the second touchdown for the Green Knights today, his first of the day, and that puts up St. Norbert 13-0 over the Cougars.
And now both of their running backs have 1 touchdown apiece, and St. Norbert just dominating at the line of scrimmage. That offensive line really dominating the front 7 of the Cougars, and they're having no issues running the football.
As the extra point is up and good from Dalton Moyes, sophomore out of Hiram, Georgia. As you could see the replay here. And Parker, something that Kudik's been doing really well today is just his patience. He's one of those running backs where he doesn't just get the ball and go. He gets the ball. He kind of surveys the scene a little bit, see where the tacklers are, and then he has the acceleration to just speed up and go when he needs to. And we saw that there. Waited back for a second and then able to beat 2 tacklers in his way to the end zone.
And that really just speaks to his vision. You mentioned that he is a patient runner, and he really allows his lead blockers to get out there before he decides to put 1 foot in the ground and really get north and south. And just taking a quick look at the box score, St. Norbert 15 rush attempts for 110 yards. The first quarter's not even over.
4:06 left to go in the first as the Green Knights on top of the Cougars 14-0. As we get set for another kickoff here. Troy Prattley and Henry Jones is the fourth in to receive the kick. It's Jones who does, waves for fair catch. So CUC, their offense will get their 3rd attempt on the 25-yard line.
So we've seen the Cougars offense go 3 and out twice in a row. This drive has to be a little bit better, getting more creative in the play calling to really be able to push the ball downfield, because you already find yourself down 14-0 in the first quarter. The Cougars know the history of this matchup coming in. If you're looking to flip the script, have to be able to move the ball on offense.
Yeah, we really haven't seen them target Chase Levi yet. There was a pass thrown in his direction, but it's kind of a mystery of who it was intended for. As Jacob Redmond uses a couple blockers here. He's brought down, however.
And that's something that Coach Lambert and I have talked about in our Coaches Weekly interviews, that they love to be able to run the quarterback. Now we've seen a couple design QB runs for Jacob Redmond, just not able to find necessarily the creases and the gaps to be able to get through, but nice job by him being able to pick up a few yards.
Tackle made by Alex Campbell of the Green Knights, as it'll be 2nd down and 6 after the rush of 4 from Redmond. He's going to carry it again, tries to go up the middle. He's brought down again, picks up another 3 yards. And,
right.
The Cougars 2 away from a first down.
Right there, a power read. Redmond reading that outside-inside linebacker, and he had the option of being able to hand it off to Levi. We mentioned that he's 2nd in the NAC in average rush yards per attempt, and he's a receiver. Kind of surprised he didn't give the ball to him. Not sure if that was called for Redmond, just to kind of throw off the defense. A little eye candy right there.
3rd down and 3 for the Cougars, as it looks like a Green Knight jumps. He did. He's going to draw the flag. And number 90, John Bokey, the senior out of Rockford, Illinois. And assuming he did jump first, that'll be a Cougars first down, and it is. You can see on the replay, Bokey close to the screen, near sideline of the front 7, number 90. Just jumping a little bit early. And now CUC has their first down of the day. It comes through the penalty.
Nice job by Cougars getting Bakey to jump off sides, utilizing that hard count.
Rush there for Sincere Best, able to pick up about half the yards needed for a first down.
So now this is the best drive we've seen so far from the Cougars offense. Have a little bit of momentum, getting that ball downfield, really utilizing the run game. And now they're starting to create a little bit of momentum for themselves.
2nd down and 3 for the Cougars. Redmond got a little bit more. Sincere Best, got a little bit more on that rush than I initially thought. It's the first pass to Chase Levi, reeled in for a 1st down. Chase Levi rocking number 0 today instead of his usual 6. He gets his first completion of the day, and Cougars get a 2nd 1st down.
The first completion to Chase Levi, and sometimes it's the simple things that are the most effective, and we see Levi just running a simple slant route, and nice job by Redmond putting it right on the number 0 and allowing Levi to be able to pick up the 1st down.
So they hand it off to Best, and he's wrapped up before even getting past the line. I think the football even touched the ground for a second. CUC able to jump on it, no damage done. But that's going to be a massive loss of yardage there. 4 yards, as you can see the replay on your screen now. Hand it off to Best, and yeah, football touching down on the Cougar head. But CUC luckily able to get on top of it, avoid catastrophe.
Looked like it was another option between Redmond and Best. Best thought he was getting the football, but Redmond trying to keep it last minute, and that resulted in the fumble and the negative loss of yardage for the Cougars.
Approaching the 1 minute mark of the first quarter, 2nd down and 14 for CUC as they put Levi in motion. Redmond's got to get rid of it. He finds his man in Best. Best brought down by the shoelace, number 55 on the tackle. That is Kyle Santos. Good job just tripping up the CUC running back. But however, CUC able to get to the original line of scrimmage, The line marker way off on where they originally set up. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 now for the Cougars.
Now we've seen a running back screen from the Green Knights and now from the Cougars. They really like to get their running backs touches. Another running back screen to Best on the right side. He's able to pick up 5 yards and still 3rd and 10 for the Cougars.
9 seconds separate the play clock and game clock. So Cougars got to get at least one more snap off here. Redmond, he looks for his receiver and he finds one. Number 19, Henry Jones IV gets their close reception. He had a defensive back right on his back, picks up the 1st down, and the Cougars get to the St. Norbert 35-yard line by the time the first quarter runs out of time. So we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll have 2nd quarter action for you. The Green Knights on top of the Cougars right now, 14-0. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning in to today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUCFB Family. We'll see you soon on campus.
Very slow and methodical.
Second quarter about to kick off here in River Forest. Cougars are trailing the Green Knights 14-0. But Parker, this is by far the best offensive drive we've seen from this Cougars team so far. Have picked up 3 first downs on it. Those are their only 3 first downs of the game. So this is a good drive here, and they're doing it exactly how you said they needed to do it, a bit more varied play calling on this drive.
And this is your typical CUC drive, slow and methodical. They like to win the time of possession, ranked first in that category as well.
As getting a reception and a little more is Quentin Grimes, the tight end. Haven't really called his name a lot this season. Cougars, not a big tight end receiver team just throughout the Andy Lambert era. They go to one there in Grimes, and now they're going to be inside the red zone.
And that's the first completion to a tight end we've seen this year from the Cougars. First reception for Quentin Grimes, the freshman out of Alpharetta, Georgia, and it was RPO read for Jacob Redmond. He had Quentin Grimes coming in behind the linebackers on a slant route, and another nice accurate ball from the sophomore quarterback.
Well, Quentin Grimes, 6'1", 192, so he's a big body across the middle for Redmond to hit. He does that there, gets the first down, and a little more. Cougars on the 15-yard line as Redmond, he's going to carry it himself. Good pickup there from Jacob Redmond. And he's going to get another first down for the Cougars, and that'll bring up 1st and goal as they are on the 5-yard line.
And we see the Cougars, they keep going back to the power read with Jacob Redmond. They really like him to get in that inside A-gap and pick up as many yards as he can. Really nice job by the Cougars marching down the field.
So 1st down and goal for the Cougars. They got 5 yards to go. Redmond, he's going to carry it himself, but he's brought down. Sniffing that one out was number 94 for the Green Knights. That is Oliver Scrignoli, excuse me. Excellent pickup there by number 94 in white. He saw that play coming a mile away.
And you can only run that play so many times before the defense is able to sniff it out. But nice job by Scrignoli not letting anything get past him and wrapping up Redmond in the backfield for another negative yardage play.
So 2nd down and goal, and now from the 7-yard line for CUC, trying to get their first score of the day as Redmond is going to do it through the air, and that one just short of Chase Levi in the corner of the end zone near the goal line. He was all tied up by his defender, and now that'll bring up 3rd and goal, 7.
And we see Redmond reading the right side of the field. That's where the concept was. Didn't see anything he liked, and he had pressure coming in his face, so once again just having to dump it and living to fight another down.
12:57 left to go here in the first half. Cougars, they need 7 yards for their first score of the day. Sincere Best lines up to the left of Redmond. They have 2 seconds to go. They got to get the play off, and they're going to have to call a timeout. CUC almost running into the delay of game. Coach Lambert having to use his first timeout of the half to avoid it.
And that one right there on the quarterback, Redmond, didn't see the play clock as it was winding down. We've seen the Cougars have had their struggles at moments with getting the play call in. Coach Lambert really liking to get that play clock winding down before the call gets in. We see Redmond just unaware of the play clock.
So CUC 7 yards away from a touchdown. It's also 3rd down, so they're running out of downs to do it. They're trying to at least cut this lead in half. But, Parker, we could see a somewhat low-scoring game here. I mean, you mentioned the time of possession, which I think was an interesting note. CUC loves to eat up time off the clock. We know that. It's been that way since Coach Lambert got here. Now, 2 years ago, he's almost completed his 3rd season as head coach of the Cougars. But coach of the Green Knights, that is Dan McCarty, I mean, we've been seeing they're going through the rush, and that's going to need a lot of time as well as you're continuously rushing. So we'll have more on that in just a second. We got to focus on the field. 3rd down and 7. Cougars, they put Henry Jones in motion. Redmond, he's looking for Jones. Jones drops the pass, but there is a flag on the play.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a pass interference right there called on number 25, Drew Jirac.
CUC could catch a massive break here, and it will be pass interference on the team in white. So the Cougars, they're going to get a fresh set of downs. They're going to move a little closer to the goal line as well.
The Cougars catching a huge break and a very rare drop as we see Redmond target Henry Jones on the near corner of the end zone. A very rare drop, but they got bailed out by the pass interference call.
So first and goal now. Cougars on the 2-yard line. Fresh set of downs for the home team in their gold jerseys and white pants. Redmond, he's going to carry it himself, but he's all tangled up. A mob of white jerseys in on him. So the Cougars are going to have to wait at least another play now, as I think Redmond even lost a little bit of yardage on that one.
Yeah, a nice job by that defensive line of St. Norbert, really mixing it up in there, creating chaos and creating another loss of yardage. And at some point, Redmond will give the ball to Levi, who's coming in on the jet sweep, to kind of mix up the play calling a little bit.
Yeah, Cougars have been going to Redmond a lot through the ground on this drive, and I think St. Norbert has effectively picked up on that, as the Cougars now second down and goal from the 4-yard line. As Redmond, he's going to roll out the pass, and it is off the hands of the intended receiver. No flags on the play, as taking his time getting up is Henry Jones, the 4th.
We see a bootleg action by Redmond and a dangerous pass back inside to Jones, who had 3 Green Knights in the area, and Redmond's got to be a little bit smarter not putting the ball in harm's way.
You know, and I think this is where you can tell the Cougars really missing Joran Brown. Brown, a very effective just downhill runner. He likes to bulldoze his way through some players. Cougars, they just need a couple of yards here, but they don't really have that bulldozer-type player to be able to pick them up, especially on a goal line defense, which is going to be clogging up the middle as we get whistles blown here. And that's going to be another timeout, as Coach Lambert having to use another one here. He's down to just one. 12:02 left to go here in the first half. Cougars knocking on the door, but it's 3rd and 4. So we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network while the team talks things over. When we come back, Cougars 4 yards away from their first touchdown of the day. See if they can get it in just a second.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning into today's game. For more information on the football program, head to CUCougars.com. We hope to see you soon in our next game.
.12:02 left to go in the first half. The Cougars 3rd and 4 yards to go until the end zone. They put Chase Levi in motion, and they give the ball to him. Chase Levi tries to push his way through. He can't. And on the tackle was Logan Dorner as well as Kyle Santos, and it's decision time now for the Cougars. 4th down and short until the goal line. And Parker, it looks like as of now, they're keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah, and you got to be aggressive at this point in the game. You're already trailing by 14 points. You're a couple yards away from the end zone. It's like I said a couple plays ago, we see Redmond giving the ball to Jace Levi on the jet sweep, but you have to be aggressive at this stage in the ball game.
4th down and goal, 3 yards to go for the Cougars. As Redmond, and he's going to target in the backfield. Is it caught? It is dropped. He had it for a second. That is Chase Levi. And as he hit the ground, the ball did as well. You can see Cougars going for the corner of the end zone, and Chase Levi just not able to survive the contact with the defensive back and the ground. The dropped pass means it's a turnover on down, St. Norbert ball.
And it looked like they were just running a goal line fade, trying to back shoulder it to Jace Levi. And usually that's one that he comes down with. Not necessarily the best ball, but Levi having to make an adjustment on it. But usually that's typically one that he comes down with.
So St. Norbert, they handed off to a new rushing player we haven't been able to call yet. That was number 28 for the Green Knights. Patrick Oden, junior running back out of Aurora, Illinois. Very familiar place, the NAC teams. Home of Aurora University, of course, who's perennial champion of the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference in football. As Oden got another rush, he's just 2 yards short of a first down.
We see St. Norbert just continuing to go back to their run game. Still only 2 passes from Peyton Lyons, who is 1 for 2. But now we have another running back into the game. So expect St. Norbert to utilize their 3 running backs they have.
And they give it back to Odin. Odin uses his speed, still on his feet, brought down, tangled up around the legs by Damari Grant for the Cougars. Not enough to stop the first down, however, as St. Norbert moving the chains.
St. Norbert just their approach is very similar to CUC's, loving to run the football, winding down that play clock. Even though CUC ranks first in the NAC in time of possession, St. Norbert also tries to win that battle as well, and they're doing that in this game.
Another rush for Odin. He's been the workhorse on this drive as Coach Dan McCarty of the Green Knights, as well as offensive coordinator Dennis Cooper, giving their dual-headed threat of Kudik and Zuleger a break in this drive.
See Odin getting a lot of the workload here. Went to Nazareth Academy. Actually, that's home of Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy, so a pretty famous high school in the Illinois area.
And now, with room to run, it is Odin, and he's brought down eventually by Damari Grant, but Odin running rampant on the CUC defense right now. He makes it all the way to the Cougars' 36-yard line.
We see Odin just really finding that hole and hitting it full speed and able to pick up a huge chunk of yardage, and we see that offensive line of the Green Knights continuing to dominate at the line of scrimmage. CUC has had a rough time really trying to limit that rushing attack.
First down and 10 for the Green Knights on the Cougars' 36-yard line. Odin in the backfield. He's going to get it again. And this time he stood up about a yard after the line of scrimmage. Odin has received every handoff so far this drive. He's been their only offensive option this drive.
They love to utilize the hot hand. We see that, they've gone to Kudik, they've gone to Zuliger, and now Odin. And Odin's doing just fine on this drive, so why take him out? Keep going back to him.
And now they go for a pass, and Lyon has to throw it down quickly. And is right in on the pressure was Thomas. So 3rd down and 9 here for the Green Knights. Could be a huge stop for the Cougars. You have the huge gain of yards by the Odin rush. And now CUC trying to stop them on their half of the field.
Last time it was 3rd and 9. We saw St. Norbert run the football, so let's see what they draw up right here.
Lyon, the quarterback, has completed just one pass today. It was for 15 yards. But it was a short pass that was taken for 15 yards. Now he's going to look downfield. He has a man in 87, but it's over the hands of the intended receiver, number 87, Tyler Medina. Billy Turen. Tyler Medina wears number 87 on the defensive side of the field.
Yeah, a lot of players on this team, this St. Norbert team, but nice job by Bailey Turin really beating the secondary of CUC on that play. Just a little bit of an overshot by Lyon, who's really struggled with his accuracy this year. And nice job by CUC getting the stop on what looked like a promising drive, and now they're going to get the ball right back.
Interesting decision, a punt here from St. Norbert. They were in that 4th down territory. Henry Jones waving for the fair catch. He snags it. So CUC, they're going to be set up on their 2-yard line. So not often you see someone go for a punt when they're in that territory of the field, that area where a little too close to punt, a little too far for a field goal. St. Norbert elects to punt, and credit the CUC punt team and Tyler Jurgensen. They pin the Cougars on the 2-yard line. And
a nice job by Henry Jones. He had a lot of Green Knights really surrounding him, but nice job by him focusing on the catch and not making a bad situation worse. We see CUC starting on their own 2-yard line, but it could have went a lot worse if Jones took his eye off the ball.
So CUC backed all the way up as Redmond is in his end zone. He gives it to Best, and Sincere Best, he's got to keep pushing forward. He's brought down, but forward progress is going to keep it from being a safety. Risky play there by CUC to just run it up the middle when you're starting in the end zone, essentially. They're going to rule him at the 2-yard line, so no gain on the play.
CUC just trying to get as much breathing room as possible. They're already in a very suffocating part of the field. They're trying to utilize Best just to be able to pick up a couple yards just to give them a little bit of hope.
And now Redmond, he goes to Gabe Dace, and instead it's brought down for an interception. Number 7 for St. Norbert, Mark Thomas, going up, stepping in front of Dace and bringing down the interception. And St. Norbert, as you see the replay on your screen, Redmond going for Dace. Mark Thomas able to just get up in front and get up off the ground. And everything's going well for St. Norbert these last few plays, Parker. You have the punt that puts them on the 2-yard line. You have a stop at the line of scrimmage, and now you get an interception. So you get the ball at the Cougars' 25-yard line.
Yeah, and Redmond trying to get it to Dace while he was being double-teamed. And, again, putting the ball in harm's way, you're setting up St. Norbert in their best field position all afternoon.
And St. Norbert brings out a familiar face in Zulegger. So after a drive which was dominated by Patrick Oden, St. Norbert elects to go back to their usual 1-2 punch of Zulegger and the man coming onto the field right now, Owen Kudik.
And if you've heard the saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And surely enough, their run game, 22 attempts for 178 yards. They're averaging over 8 yards per crack at it. It's dominant performance by the Green Knights here in the first half.
Zulegger 45 yards on 7 carries, Oden 62 on 6, and then Kudik 71 on 9 as they give it to Kudik here, and he's going to get enough for a first down, just enough for a first down, as St. Norbert lines up on the 15-yard line.
And CUC going to have to rely on their defense to try to hold the Green Knights to at least 3. If you're able to hold them to just a field goal, that's a win in this stage of the ballgame.
First down and 10. Lion goes out. He finds number 80, Austin Miller, and he's all wrapped up and finally brought down. First man in for the Cougars was Brandon Montford, sophomore out of Fairburn, Georgia.
And St. Norbert going to the passing attack, which they haven't gone to a whole lot in this game, but nice job by Montford using his speed off the edge, being able to sniff out the screen and stop it for no progress.
We've really only seen one pass downfield from Lyon as he'll hand it off to Kudik. Kudik, he's going to turn the other way and go. Kudik into the end zone. What a rush there from the senior. He was all tangled up, reverses course, says, I'm going to go the other way, punches through the hole. Touchdown, St. Norbert. They're now up 20-0. What a rush there from number 30 in white.
And if you're the CUC defense, you can't allow plays like that to happen. You had Kudik wrapped up on the left side of the field, but nice job by him bouncing back, utilizing his vision once again, and just getting into the end zone for another touchdown.
The point after from Moyes is good, but yeah, Kudik, as you could see the replay here, and that's the effect that Kudik's been having, Parker, is that he's drawing the entire CUC defense to him, to the spot they think he's going to run. So all he has to do is bounce off some guy, turn the Jets the other way, and he has an open field for a touchdown. Either way, no matter how it's done, St. Norbert up 21-0 on the Cougars now. 5:26 left to go in the first half. So we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and when we come back in just a second, Cougars, they get set to return the kickoff.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago? Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you tuning in today's game.
Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, St. Norbert up 21-0, and Parker, we're talking about a little bit during the timeout, but we've mentioned the patience of Kudik all day, and I mean that touchdown was such a prime example of it. I believe you used the term putting all your eggs in one basket. If you're the Cougars defense, they didn't have anyone back as Henry Jones, there's a flag down. He's getting pushed out of bounds, but again, as there's some extracurriculars going on. But just to wrap up that touchdown, Kudik's patience has been such a game changer for him today.
Yeah, and the Cougars did put all their eggs in one basket. They had pretty much everybody on that right side of the field. And when Kudik turned back, there was nobody there and a wide open lane to the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the afternoon.
Play, the penalty on the return listed as a holding on the Cougars, so they're going to set up at their 25-yard line. Then things getting a little bit chippy after Henry Jones was pushed out of bounds. Usually happens when you have a bunch of defenders literally running into the other team's bench. As CUC now kind of feels, even though there's well over half a game of football off the play park, this feels like a drive where you need to see something on the scoreboard, whether it's a field goal or ideally a touchdown. CUC needs to put something on the board here before this game gets too far out of hand. They're already down 21 points.
Well, they were building, and they had a pretty solid drive last week, but they just need to continue to build
a fumble,
off that.
And falling on it is a Green Knight. A yellow jersey there too, but Green Knights come away with it. Number 96 on the fumble recovery. As you can see, the botched handoff between Redmond and Levi. Perfect work there by their Zoom camera, perfectly displaying it. As on the fumble recovery was a number 96, Deacon Carroll, and
that's now the second fumble we've seen inside their own 10-yard line. Redmond with the early pick earlier in the second quarter, and now the fumble, and you're setting up St. Norbert in an even better field position for them to continue to grow their 21-0 lead.
And Parker, we were talking about how the Cougars needed to put points up on the board. They now have to stop the touchdown as Odin comes just a few yards short of the goal line. So a huge momentum. I say momentum shifter here. Green Knights are already up 21-0, but they're going to have a chance for another quick score here. Could make it as much as 29-0 if they really want to go for a 2-point conversion, but assuming they get the touchdown, likely it'll be 28-0. But a chance to really, really break this one wide open if you're St. Norbert.
And CUC just continuing, no answer for this St. Norbert running attack. We knew that this might be an issue coming into the game. And so far, we're proven right.
4:47 left to go in the first half. They give it to Odin again, and he bounces off the line. Odin still on his feet, wrapped up, however. Almost saw a pretty similar play to Kudik's touchdown. Cougars lining up on the line of scrimmage to stop the rush. The running back, in this case it was Odin, just bouncing off that body of the tacklers and trying to go the other way. Cougars able to recover, however.
And CUC has to do a better job of wrapping up the ball carrier. Again, you mentioned it. We saw that he's able to bounce it outside after being pretty much left for dead and trying to pick up a couple more yards. He was able to as they pick up the first down, make it 1st and goal. But CUC has to do a better job of wrapping up the ball carrier.
First and goal for St. Norbert. Odin in the backfield again. He's going to get the handoff again. Odin trying to push his way through. Can he? A pile of bodies. Everybody pushing the other way. Whistle finally blows the play dead, and Odin stood up 2 yards shy of a touchdown.
So pretty nice defensive play right there from the Cougars. I mean, the Green Knights are pretty much knocking on the door, but a nice stand by that young defensive line up front.
So 2nd down and goal, 2 yards to go until the goal line as they give it to Odin again. Odin bounces around, he falls forward, and he's in the end zone. Odin, he gets his chance at a touchdown, converts on it, and makes it 27-0. 28 pending the extra point.
And St. Norbert just doing what they do best. That's now the 3rd ball carry we've seen score a touchdown for St. Norbert, and it hasn't been like they're really doing anything special. I mean, it's just the couple of mistakes, the turnovers by CUC that are setting up the Green Knights with excellent field position.
3:14 left in the first half as the extra point makes it 28-0. So we see the replay here. Odin is able to use his physicality and break through. The tacklers fall forward over the goal line. Makes it 28-0 St. Norbert. So if you thought the last drive for the Cougars was a do or die in terms of putting some points up, this next drive is really going to be a desperation drive for the Cougars as they look to make this game a little closer before we hit half. 3:14 until that point. We're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning into today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC FB Family. We'll see you on campus soon.
And we're back right as the kickoff is sent. Henry Jones reels it in, trying to use his blockers in Dace and Prattley, and now he's wrapped up. Football loose. It's out of bounds, though. And on the tackle was number 34, Bo Allison. 2 34s on this roster as well for St. Norbert. Bo Allison and Zach Petzold. When you have a roster with so many players, you're bound to double up a couple of numbers.
Yeah, and going back to the kickoff return by Henry Jones, sometimes the sideline is your best friend. We see the fumble, but lucky enough he was close to the sideline where it just went out of bounds. But the Cougars having some major turnover issues here early. St. Norbert winning the turnover battle, and that's resulting why they're up so big.
Cougars, they put Dace in motion. Redmond fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Gets 3 yards out of it. Less than 3 minutes to go in the first half as the Cougars trying desperately to get something on the board before they head to the locker room.
And I don't want to say a comeback is improbable, but what you want to do is you want to at least get a touchdown on the board heading into halftime, cutting this deficit to 21 points, because being down 28-0 can be very demoralizing for a team at the halftime mark.
Best now, Sincere Best. One of his better rushes of the day. Gets the first down and a little more.
Nice job by Best hitting that hole and picking up a huge chunk of yardage. Maybe one of the better plays that we've seen from the Cougars thus far.
But a penalty, and it's going to get brought all the way back. So CUC, 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards.
Yeah, and it's just like when you think something's going right, it actually turns out to be going wrong. The turnovers and the penalties, granted there haven't been too many in this game, only 1 penalty for 10 yards for the Cougars, but just absolutely kills a positive play from Best.
CUC now hands it back to Best. 2nd down and long. Gets past the first line of scrimmage. CUC, the official penalty, illegal formation, and forced 5 yards from the end of the play.
Now setting up the Cougars 3rd and 9. Haven't been good on 3rd down conversions this year, only converting 29% of the time on 3rd down, which I believe is last in the NAC.
So 135. CUC's 3rd down conversion, like Parker said, sitting at 30.7%. That's 8th in the NAC. Only team below them is WLC, as we see flags fly again here. I believe there'll be a delay of game on the Cougars, so they're going to continue to hurt themselves on this drive. And Parker, this was a huge drive. CUC needed to get something going before the end of the half. And now they're at 3rd and long, deep in their own territory. 1:10 left to go on the clock. CUC puts Jones in motion to the other side. Now Redmond, he's got to look downfield. He finds Levi. It's off his hands and down. Incomplete pass. So CUC will be 4th down and long with 58.7 seconds left in the half as Troy Prattley marches out for the punt. St. Norbert, they're going to have less than a minute to try and put even more points up on the board.
Just nothing going right for the Cougars in the first half. Weren't able to get it on 3rd and long, and now forced to bring out the punt unit.
Prattley's punt. Going to land right below the 50-yard line. Takes a very favorable bounce as it's still going. Good punt there from Troy Prattley as it is at the St. Norbert 36-yard line.
Really nice job by Prattley. It wasn't necessarily the deepest kick, but it got that Cougar bounce, and it looked like that St. Norbert might be lined up again in Cougar territory. They're now forced to start from their own territory.
So 1st and 10 on St. Norbert's own 36-yard line as the Cougars just need to keep St. Norbert off the board for another 50 seconds and then walk into the locker room down 28. St. Norbert trying to add on a couple more points here, but they're probably going to have to go through the air to do so, which we just have not seen them do yet today. It hasn't been hurting their offense, but it just means no quick scores here as they're going to try to do it here. Lyon, he's got to take off, and he's brought down by number 53 for the Cougars, Brandon Arredondo.
And if you're St. Norbert, there's really no need to push the ball downfield. You want to be conservative right here because you already have a 28-0 lead. So really no reason to get a bad play. Just play conservative and go into halftime with your lead.
Lyon, and he finds a short reception to Kudik. Clock's still running. 3rd down and 3 for the Green Knights as they are capable of just running this clock out. 10 seconds left on the game clock now. And they're going to take one more snap. They hand it off to Kudik, and CUC is going to let him pick up some yards. Kudik, he's still gone, just steps out of bounds to end the first half. No reason, as Parker said, to take any unnecessary risks if you are St. Norbert because you are up 28-0 over the Cougars as the teams are going to head to the locker room. CUC has some major second-half adjustments to make. We're going to see if they're able to make them when we get back here on the Cougar Sports Network in 20 minutes. Cougars taking on the Green Knights. St. Norbert up 28-0 right now. The season home finale for the Cougars of the 2023 season. We'll have more action for you in about 20 minutes, so stick around on the Cougar Sports Network.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
I'm a CUC nursing student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces: a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
Hi, I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane.
So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennedy Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall. So the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there.
Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
Second half, just a minute 23 away from kicking off here in River Forest as we get set for the back end of the 2023 home finale for your Concordia University Chicago Cougars. They are trailing the St. Norbert Green Knights 28-0 at half. Peter Brokowski, Parker Kelly with you on the broadcast here. Parker, let's look over some of the stat leaders from today. So far, leading in passing yards, it is the Cougars' man, Jacob Redmond, 4 for 10 for 45 yards, 1 interception. Don't often see quarterback leading the passing game with 45 yards, but that's where we're at in the second half. In terms of rushing, it is Kudek. He has 102 yards and a pair of touchdowns over 12 carries for the Cougars. Sincere Best has 13 yards over 7 carries. And receiving-wise, it is Quentin Grimes, 1 catch for 20 yards. Closest to him is Kudek, 2 catches for 19 yards. And Parker, 30 seconds left to go here. Cougars obviously going to need a big half here, down by 28 as they have just 30 minutes, to try and pull back within this one. 24 minutes, So what is some of the keys here for the Cougars in terms of getting back into this one?
Well, we see that St. Norbert has dominated the line of scrimmage. They lead the ground attack, 30 attempts for 226 yards and 4 touchdowns in that first half. The Cougars have not really blitzed a whole lot. They're going to need to be able to blitz a lot more in the second half, fill some of those gaps and holes to be able to prevent that St. Norbert rushing attack from getting going here in the second half.
Well, the Cougars are going to look to go on the attack here as they get set for the opening kickoff of the second half. 2 quarters left to go here in the Cougars 2023 home portion of the schedule on the road the final 2 weeks, as this is Damari Grant. Grant, a good return here. He's finally pushed out of bounds right around the 35-yard line. So good return there from the defensive back for the Cougars, playing the role of return specialist on that kick.
Yeah, good return by Damari Grant, utilizing his speed, getting to the outside, setting up the Cougars' offense, hopefully to be a lot better in this second half. You have great starting field position. Now just need to make something happen.
And Parker, it looks like we have a quarterback change for the Cougars. Wasn't really expecting to see that. Out is Jacob Redmond, and coming in, Colton Bosch, the freshman out of Coopersville, Michigan. He's going to get his chance to shine under center as the very first play of the half, and he's brought down by a pair of Green Knights. Number 50 and number 54 for the team in white, Sam Barnett, as well as number 54, that is Mason Hesley.
We see how good Sam Barnett is at rushing the passer. We talked about that so much in the pregame show. This is a St. Norbert team who is first in the NAC with 24 sacks. And we see right there on the first play of the second half, the pressure just getting to Bosch and bringing him down.
Now Bosch hands it off to Best. Best doing his best to try and pick up some yards. Picks up a couple. Not a ton. It's still 3rd down and long.
So 3rd and long. You have Bosch in there, the freshman from Coopersville, Michigan, who is traditionally more of a pocket-style quarterback, pocket passer. So wouldn't be surprised to see the Cougars try to air it out right here, especially considering the formation. Looks like they're about to go 3 receivers out wide. So with the quarterback Bosch in there, expect the Cougars to potentially go to the pass game right here.
1 receiver to his left, 2 to his right. Bosch, he's going to roll out a little bit as he's immediately pressured. A low pass, unable to reel it in, was Best. And it's number 94 in on Bosch. Number 94, Scrignoli, mentioned him before.
A nice job by Scrignoli, just coming off the edge, really no blocker out there to get him. And Bosch, the way the concept was set up, they were trying to get the ball vertically down the field, but due to the pressure, he just had to dump it off to the running back.
And the punt is blocked. Number 1 and 34 cutting into the backfield, Logan Dorner, as well as Bo Allison getting past the line. As you can see the replay here, that duo just slipping through the offensive line for the Cougars. As now CUC has to play some shutdown defense here. And we see a change at quarterback for the Green Knights as well. Peyton Lyon takes a seat on the bench while Chase Castle, a junior, he's out. And he hands it off to Kudik, who's quickly wrapped up. And on the tackle was Jamari Jackson.
We see Chase Castle. This is his second game appearance on the season, the junior out of Tucson, Arizona. He's done some solid work. He played against Rockford earlier in the season. He was 6 of 8 for 49 yards and a touchdown, to 75% completion percentage. So St. Norbert trying to get their backup quarterback some reps here in the second half.
And he hands it off to Kudik. And now Kudik able to turn the corner, gets pushed out after the first down. Owen Kudik. Cougars have had very little solution for him as he continues to run rampant, already over 100 rushing yards on the day.
14 carries, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Owen Kudik really just having his way throughout the majority of the game.
They give it back to him, steps back, cuts back, and into the end zone. Owen Kudik, touchdown number 3 for the senior on the day. And St. Norbert going to increase their lead as we have some conversation here. There's a Cougar on the ground without his helmet. I believe that's Damari Grant, number 18, holding his head. That's something you don't want to see.
Yeah, Grant, one of the better cover corners for the Cougars. He looks like he's running off under his own power, which is a good sign if you're a CUC fan.
Trying to wave off the trainer, CUC's athletic training staff running closely with him. They're going to have to check him out. Anytime you see a player on the ground without a helmet holding his head, never a good sign. So we hope Damari Grant's okay. Meanwhile, the Green Knights increase their lead 34-0 as there is a flag on the play. So the touchdown is good. That's the important part here. We're trying to sift out what this penalty is. If it's on the Green Knights, whoever it's on, it'll take effect during the kickoff. As Moyes gets set for another extra point attempt here. The kick is up, and it is good. So 35-0 for the Green Knights. 12:20 left to go here in the third quarter. We're going to take a quick break on the Cougar Sports Network, and when we come back, Cougars still looking to put up their first points of the day. We'll have that for you in just a second.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago, head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you tuning in to today's game.
$12:20 left to go in the third quarter. Cougars trailing the Green Knights 35-0, and the penalty we're talking about, a personal foul on Cole Lacken. And so because of that, the Green Knights got to kick it off from the 50-yard line, and it'll be a touchback either way. So Cougars setting up on the 25-yard line.
And just nothing going right for the Cougars. And now with that last touchdown, St. Norbert has outscored CUC 123-0 in a little over 10 quarters of football in their past 3 matchups. Just nothing going right for the Cougars.
And so the offense still looking to put up the first points against St. Norbert ever. Stroll back out there. Colton Bosch remains in the game for the Cougars. They're getting their freshman QB some looks here in the final home contest of the year as he hands it off to Best. Sincere Best pushes through tied up around the feet by number 98 of St. Norbert. That is, look for his number here. That is Billy Burke.
And CUC just really shooting themselves in the foot with the turnovers. We saw the interception, the fumble, and then the blocked punt, which set up St. Norbert in excellent field position, which resulted in 3 touchdowns.
And now they give it off to Chase Levi. Levi cuts back. He's tangled up and brought down. Number 18, Grady Brink on the play. So CC's offense getting nothing going here against St. Norbert today. 64 total yards, 45 through the air and 19 on the ground.
We see CUC just trying to get it to the outside, get to the outside hash in the numbers, but nice job by that St. Norbert defense really setting the edge and not allowing the Cougars to get much of anything.
11-12 left to go here in the third. As Bosch puts a man in motion, it was Levi. Instead, they hand it off to Best. Best able to pick up a first down. So Sincere Best gets the Cougars moving the chains. As the Cougars trying to get their first points on the board.
And it's going to be important that you have a solid drive right here. We mentioned the Cougars are trying to get their first points against St. Norbert ever, but that first drive coming out of halftime, not good for the Cougars, and you're looking to just not repeat that. And it starts with a good presence up front at the line of scrimmage, a nice run by Best, picking up the first down for CUC.
So first down and 10. Bosch, the bullet passes this one, and it's caught for a completion. That is Gabe Dace on the catch.
And that's something that Bosch really brings to the table. We mentioned that he's a pocket passer, but he also has a cannon on that right arm. And nice job of really fitting it in there to Dace on the hitch route and picking up a solid chunk of yardage.
Colin Bosch, 6 foot, 200, out of Coopersville, Michigan. Seeing very limited action in his freshman year as a Cougar between the duo who spent most of the season above him in Redmond and Prattley, as this pass batted down, incomplete. So third down now.
We see CUC going back to the short game, trying to get another hitch off to the right side. Very similar play call like we saw from the completion to Dace. Now it's third down and manageable. So interested to see what the Cougars draw up right here, if they want to run for it or go back to the short passing game, which has worked at some points in the matchup.
Less than 10 minutes now in the third quarter as CUC is trying to get on the board. They need a completion here on third downs. A 2 for 7 as Bosch finds Henry Jones. Jones has just go forward enough, and he does. Henry Jones caught it right before the first down marker, went backwards, and it's still able to turn around and get across the first down marker. So good job there after the catch by Henry Jones.
Jones leading the team in receptions, 26 coming into today. We see Bosch just getting it out to him in the flats. He's able to cut back inside, pick up the first down, something that Jones brings to the table. He's so speedy, shifty, he's able to make defenders miss, and he did that right there.
9:05 left to go as Bosch gives this one to Best. Best just moves the pile himself. Sincere Best, 3-yard gain on the run. As CUC, I think you mentioned it earlier, Parker, a very CUC drive. We're seeing that again here, just kind of chipping away yard by yard. No big plays yet. And I feel that's what's kind of been missing from this offense is they are so good at chipping away at the drive. They get slight margin by margin pickups, but they're kind of missing, that brings the defense in. That's when you have to attack downfield for that big play. It seems to be what they're reluctant to do sometimes as Bosch is going to get caught up and brought down.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying, the one player that's been able to do that for the Cougars this year has been Jace Levi, but we've seen that they haven't really been able to get him the ball. He has 1 reception for 10 yards, but he also has 2 rushes for 1 yard, so he's only touched the ball 3 times, and he's really the guy that will take the top off the defense. When you're only able to get him the ball a couple of times, I mean, it's not going to do much of anything, and you're not able to get those explosive plays down the field.
3rd down and 8 for the Cougars. They're going to need another 3rd down completion. Now 3 for 8 on the day. Had one on the last set of downs. They'll need one here again as Bosch is going to instead call a timeout. The play clock running out. So CUC forced to use their first timeout of the second half. 7:39 left to go in the 3rd quarter. We're going to take a break up here in the booth just like they are on the field. And when we come back, Cougars 3rd and 8 on the St. Norbert 49. We'll have the rest of this drive for you in just a second.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, visit CUCougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game. Go Cougars!
Third and 8 for the Cougars on the St. Norbert 49-yard line. As Colin Bosch lines up with Sincere Best to his left, they put Jace Levi in motion. No handoff there. Bosch is immediately pressured and brought down. Who else but Sam Barnett on the sack? And the St. Norbert game record doing exactly that. CUC putting together a little bit of a drive, and number 50 comes through and says, not on my watch, brings down the CUC quarterback. And the Cougars going to have to punt now because of it. 4th and 16.
Sam Barnett, just the leader on that defense coming into today. 4 sacks, which ranks 4th in the NAC. And we see that right there, getting the sack on Bosch. He's just doing it all.
CUC downs Troy Prattley's punt on the St. Norbert 25. So Green Knight's going to have a long way to go to the end zone now, which I think is a breath of fresh air for the CUC defense. They've been playing a lot of short field over these last couple of drives just due to some costly turnovers. We know we had a fumble. We had an interception before the end of the first half. So I think this defense is going to feel a little bit better now that they can have some more room for error here on this drive.
Yeah, not setting up St. Norbert in the field position that they've had earlier in this game, trying to force them back and make them march down the length of the field.
And now out of nowhere, a wide open field for Odin. He says it doesn't matter how far we are from the end zone. I'm taking it all the way. Patrick Odin. Touchdown Green Knights. They're up 41-0 now. And Parker, we've seen this with the St. Norbert running backs before, as we'll have a replay for you in a minute, but it's not the first drive that they score on. 75-yard touchdown from Odin, the official marking. It's usually the play's going on for a couple of seconds, and then that's when they break through, which just speaks to the patience. I know we're talking about Kudik, but Odin has displayed that as well, where they're not going to beat you on their very first rushing move. They're going to wait a bit, let the defense get settled, and then they're going to try to beat you.
Well, and we see that it doesn't really matter where they start in the field. They're able to strike from wherever. We see the run from Odin, just the patience that he displays, just like his teammate Kudik. He's able to find a gap, hit the hole outside, and then just the track star, just taking it the distance. Nice run by Odin.
So Odin's 75-yard jaunt makes it 42-0. 6:48 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. We're going to take a break on the Cougar Sports Network, and when we come back, Cougars, they get set for the kick return. Dude, how do you...
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the field. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some of the great Cougar football moments. Thank you and enjoy the game.
42-0 your score here in River Forest. The away team, the Green Knights, are on top. And Parker, you mentioned the stat during the break as Henry Jones misses one tackler and finally gets brought down. Excuse me, that's Damari Grant. But the stat you mentioned, Parker, 319 rushing yards on the day for the Green Knights. They have 19 passing yards. They have less than 20 passing yards. They got 42 points up on the board. And when you see teams, they struggle to get to 300 rushing yards total. Some teams, they struggle to get to 300 yards total at all. Yet the Green Knights have done exactly that. We still have over 6 minutes and 40 seconds in the third.
And they have 338 yards of total offense with the 19 passing yards. And their running back room, the three-headed monster between Odin, Kudik, and Zuliger, just getting it done, and now they have 2 running backs over 100 rushing yards. Phenomenal feat.
The Cougars give it to their running back, Best. He had stuffed 3 yards after the line of scrimmage, but coming in today, the Cougars giving up 253 rushing yards a game. That was 9th in the conference. They're giving up 167 passing yards. That was 2nd in the conference, so I mean, credit St. Norbert and, head coach Dan McCarty and then Dennis Cooper, the offensive coordinator. They did not overanalyze this game plan. They looked at the very surface-level stats of passing and rushing yards allowed, and they said, all right, we're just going to run over the CUC defense, and it's proven successful so far.
And sometimes it is exactly that simple, and sometimes stats do not lie. And you got to give credit to St. Norbert coming up with the game plan and just getting their running backs so many touches.
And now Bosch, a deep throw to Levi. He brings it in. Jace Levi showing why he's one of the top receivers in this conference. Double teamed, still able to bring it in. And what a ball there from Colton Bosch as well. Dropped it right in his hands as we can see.
You see the confidence from the freshman just letting it rip. Jace Levi in between 2 defenders, and that's just the chemistry right there between the quarterback and receiver. You have Levi double team, but still showing the confidence in your arm strength to get it down the field to him.
And now Bosch holds on to this one himself. Quickly sniffed out, though, by the St. Norbert defensive line. As the first man in on the tackle was Jax Carroll, senior out of Appleton, Wisconsin.
So now CUC, one of the few times they've been in St. Norbert territory, you have to be able to cap off this drive with some points. And I'd say pretty much this is an insurmountable lead for the Green Knights, but you just want to have something to build off of going into next week.
39-yard pass caught by Chase Levi. That's what got CUC here, as after that play makes it 3rd down. 3rd down and 7 for the Cougars. 3rd down and 6, the official ruling, 4.5 minutes to go. As the CUC offense getting the call signs in. 10 seconds left on the play clock now. 4:17 on the game clock. As Bosch, a deep ball to Levi. Chase Levi off his hands. That ball dropped in front of Levi again. A good ball from Bosch, and Levi just could not reel it in off his forearms. And that'll bring up 4th down, and I believe the offense, as they're looking to the sideline, trying to get the official call. I believe they're going to stay out. Colton Bosch shows no sign of coming out. So CUC going for it here. 4th down and 7.
Got to be aggressive. Great ball from Bosch to Levi. It was just a tough adjustment to make. Sometimes those over-the-shoulder catches can be some of the toughest in the game.
Now Bosch looking downfield again, and he tries to find a man, and he does. Gabe Dace, that freshman to freshman connection. And the Cougars, they convert on 4th down for the first time today. They were previously 0 for 1. And they have a fresh set of downs to work with. And now inside of the Green Knight red zone.
And we see Gabe Dace, the freshman, really stepping up in place of injured Devin Bledsoe. We mentioned that he had the game-winning receiving touchdown last week versus Eureka College, and we see right there getting the comeback off the pass from Bosch. Really nice play by the freshman duo.
Gabe Dace becoming something of a clutch performer for the Cougars. 4th downs, game-winning touchdowns when you need that big reception. Call up number 10 as that rush goes nowhere. 2nd down and 10.
And the funny thing is, Gabe Dace is a converted quarterback. He came in as a quarterback, but with the loaded quarterback room that CUC has, they really liked what Dace brings to the table as far as athleticism is concerned, and they wanted him out on the field. So really getting as much as they can, and we see how much Dace has helped them in the receiving game.
So 2nd down and 10. Bosch has Best to his right, and then 2 receivers to his right as he gives the handoff to Best. Best now able to work his way up, brought down by a duo of Green Knights. That was Santos as well as Brett Bolkow. Makes it 3rd down.
So 3rd down and about 7. We've seen the Cougars have been fairly aggressive on this drive. Like to see them go downfield. We've seen what Bosch can do in the passing game and the arm strength that he brings. So got to be able to air the ball out in this 3rd down situation.
3rd down and 7 for the Cougars in the red zone. As Bosch is going to take this one himself. Colton Bosch busts up the middle. Does he have enough for a 1st down? And he does not. It's going to be 4th and about a yard, maybe a little less. And obviously, the Cougars going to keep the offense out there. They need a touchdown if they want any chance of getting back in this game. Field goal just not going to be enough when you're down 42, 1:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
And 4th and 1. Look to the Cougars to turn to the run game right here on the 4th and short situations as well.
They do. They give it to Best. Best busts through a hole, and it's enough for a 1st down. Sincere Best converts on the 4th down. Cougars 2 4th downs converted upon in this drive, and now they have a fresh set of downs with 1:05 left to go. It'll be 1st and goal as well.
We see this current drive, 10 plays for 64 yards. The Cougars being very methodical with this approach. This drive started at the 6:42 mark in the 3rd quarter, and we're almost to the 4th quarter. So very slow, methodical drive from CUC.
Now Bosch goes for the touchdown reception and not able to reel it in as Gabe Dace. It was just over his outstretched hand, probably a little out of range of the freshman from Sullivan, Missouri. And so it'll be 2nd down and goal, 7 yards to go.
And great coverage from, looked like strong safety number 1, Logan Dorner. He was playing really tight coverage on Dace. We see that Bosch was trying to get the fade to him, but really just suffocating defense by the senior corner, not allowing Dace to get the reception for a touchdown.
43.3 seconds to go here in the 3rd. CUC trying to get on the board for the first time in history against St. Norbert. The handoff goes nowhere. St. Norbert just too big up front for Sincere Best to push through, and it'll be 3rd down now.
So 3rd down, this has been a very promising drive as the Cougars have really marched down the field, something that they haven't been able to do today, but you really have to cap off this drive with some points. You can't be shy with the play calling, have to be aggressive against a very stingy St. Norbert College defense.
The play clock and game clock are essentially tied, but the game clock leading by just a couple milliseconds, which means it'll take us to the end of the 3rd. CUC 3rd and 6 yards away from scoring their first touchdown of the day. And so we're going to take a break while we head to the fourth quarter here. Cougars knocking on the door of their first touchdown ever against St. Norbert. They got 6 yards to go. See if they can do it when we come back in just a minute.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning in to today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC FB Family. We'll see you soon on campus.
"15 minutes remain in regulation here in River Forest. The Cougars trailing the Green Knights 42-0. Third down and goal, 6 yards to go as Colton Bosch looking for a target in the end zone. He has to scramble out. The throw is incomplete. Nobody in the vicinity as that'll bring up fourth down and goal.
Looks like he was trying to get it to Jones on the rollout, but just too many Green Knights in the area, and brings up a fourth and goal scenario for CUC.
They, of course, are going to go for it again when you're down 42 in the fourth. The field goal is going to do you no good. Now Bosch, he goes for Dace, and Dace brings it in! Gabe Dace opens up the scoring for the Cougars here in the fourth. And that makes it 42-6 now. 14:52 left to go in regulation. Gabe Dace, second straight week, scoring a touchdown, coming up big once again.
We see the touchdown celebration from Colton Bosch on the sideline. Great ball, allowing for the back shoulder from Dace. And we see the Cougars just keep going back to him in the red zone. Really nice reception by the freshman.
Extra point by Ryan Auer is up and good. So CUC, as you can see the replay on your screen now, Colton Bosch. And talk about time to throw, Parker. Bosch got that, found his first read almost immediately, and then just launched it to Dace. Really did not spend much time in the pocket thinking about it. And that seems to be when Bosch is most successful, is when he gets the ball and he immediately gets rid of it. He's such a quick thrower in that regard, and it pays off for him there with the touchdown.
Well, it was a simple read. It was just a goal line fade, and really all it is a catch and throw. We see Bosch caught the snap and rhythm and just let it fly to Dace, and he made an excellent adjustment on the football, high-pointing the ball and bringing it in for the first points against St. Norbert.
So 14:52 left to go in regulation. CUC, their first points in history against St. Norbert as well. They've been shut down in their first two all-time matchups. They get a touchdown here, courtesy of Colton Bosch to Gabe Dace, and that cuts the lead down to 35 for St. Norbert. And you know, Parker, we've talked about this before, but when you're in the fourth quarter of a game where a comeback is looking less and less likely, like it is right now. Obviously, anything is possible, but 42 points in one quarter would be quite an achievement for the Cougars. I mean, really the goal is just to give yourself something to build on, as Miller now has some room to run. He's just got to beat Auer. He's got rushing on his back. Miller finally brought down. Good job there by Marvin Rushing to play catch-up. Austin Miller almost returned the kickoff. Only had to beat Auer, but Marvin Rushing came to the rescue, coming up behind him, spinning him down to the ground.
We see that was the longest kickoff return by Austin Miller this season. His previous long was 32 yards. He's averaging about 21 yards per return, and nice job by him of just finding the hole, getting up the sideline, and creating another excellent starting field position for the Green Knights.
But as we're saying about the score, I mean, at this point, you got 2 weeks left in the season after this. Obviously, the conference championship is out of hand, just statistically cannot make up that difference against Aurora. But at this point, you're just trying to build on the end of this game, build through the next 2 weeks, and go into the offseason feeling really good about what you did here.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the theme of the Cougars this year. They have a very young team, and they know that they haven't won a lot of games, but they just want to create some good things to build off of for future reference.
St. Norbert moves into first and goal territory now. Chris McCartney into the game for the Green Knights. On the year, McCartney, 12 attempts, 42 yards coming into today as flags fly, bodies pushed right by the pylon. Touchdown is signaled. We're going to have to see what this flag is about. No one seems particularly excited down on the field. Our referees gather to converge. It was caught a touchdown on the rush. But I have a feeling this one will be coming back as it is. CUC catches a break there.
I think it might have been a holding call on that St. Norbert offensive line, resulting in them bringing the ball back and canceling out the touchdown. Yep, holding call.
So holding call and brings the touchdown back as still under center is Chase Castle. And he gives this one to McCartney. Number 21 in white, Chris McCartney, a senior out of Glen Carbon, Illinois.
This is the fourth different runner we've seen from St. Norbert with Chris McCartney. He's looking pretty solid on this drive.
Well, he gets brought down behind the line on this one. And on the tackle was Adam Lambaz, the nose guard for the Cougars.
Really nice job by Lambaz getting that penetration past the center, and Evan Lindbaum is able to beat him and then tackle McCartney in the backfield for a loss.
So third down and goal. Quite a ways to go as there's a botched snap and Castle just has to fall on it. That'll bring up fourth down and the kicking unit. And Dalton Moyes will look to make his first field goal of the day. It's all been touchdowns so far.
I believe this will be around a 41-yarder. We see Moises' long this year has been 34 yards. So let's see if he has the leg to put St. Norbert up 45-7.
Moyes has not attempted anything past 40 yards. 1 for 3, 30 to 39 yards. As now flags fly. Somebody jumped early. And it's on the offense, so Moyes is going to get backed up even more here.
Just a killer penalty by St. Norbert. Granted, they are up by 35 points, but still you're making it tough on your kicker, who hasn't attempted, like you said, a 40-yard field goal this year, and you're backing him up even more with the penalty.
And now calling a timeout will be St. Norbert, so they're going to talk things over for a second after the penalty will make it roughly a 46-yarder. So we'll see what they cook up. If Dalton Moyes is going to go out there and attempt his longest field goal of the year, see what they do, and we're back on the Cougar Sports Network in just a minute.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, head to CUCougars.com. We hope to see you soon in our next game.
So St. Norbert, they're going to trot the offense out now. Interesting decision here, Parker. The penalty backed up the field goal attempt to a 46-yarder, and because of that, Coach Dan McCartney decides to put his offense back out with Chase Castle. They got 4th down to end the parking lot as a long ball, and it is caught. Oh, my goodness. What a grab, Hunter Thiel. Over the top of a Cougar defender.
Wow.
That is a Sports Center top 10 worthy grab for Thiel, the freshman out of Freedom, Wisconsin. He's a freshman as well. Goes over the Cougar receiver, the defender, excuse me.
We see Castle just really lofted the football up there in a hope and a prayer.
It wasn't
and
a
Thiel
it was
just coming down with it for the 7th touchdown of the afternoon for St. Norbert.
As we get ready for the highlight here, wasn't a particularly good long ball either. It was a little wobbly, but he just puts it up, and Thiel, falling on top of a Cougar defender, reels it in. Just, oh my goodness. I'm not even sure what to say. It was an impressive grab there.
It looked like a really bad situation for St. Norbert. Being taken out of field goal range, looked like CUC might have gotten the stop, but then the pass from Castle just lofting it up there, and Thiel coming down with the first touchdown reception for St. Norbert this afternoon.
It was 4th and 25. They had 25 yards to go until the end line, the goal line, excuse me, and Castle just hucked it. Thiel went up and came down with the ball. So the touchdown makes it 49-7 now. And like Parker said, that's their first receiving touchdown of the day.
And that's actually Hunter Thiel's first reception this season. The freshman from Freedom, Wisconsin, come down with it. Now that's the 2nd touchdown pass of the season for Chase Castle. He now has a touchdown pass in both of the games in which he's played in versus Rockford and CUC.
So fair catch here. CUC will set up on the 25-yard line. .52 left to go in regulation, trailing St. Norbert by 42 points.
CUC just, despite giving up that touchdown, you need to build off of what your offense did well. Last season we saw Bosch was very solid on that drive, capping off the possession with the touchdown to Dace. Just want to continue to build off of the things that you've done well in this ball game so far.
So CUC trots the offense back out. Colton Bosch under center. Bosch throwing the only touchdown of the day. It was a hit to Gabe Dace in the back of the end zone as Sincere Best gets the rush here. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 it remains.
So we see CUC going back to the running game, just trying to really wind down this clock. 11 and a half minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
So 2nd down and 10. Bosch with Best to his right. Hands it to Sincere Best. Now Best fumbles the football, and it's gathered up by St. Norbert. Another fumble recovery here for the Green Knights. And it was number 57 on the recovery, as you can see it on your screen here. Best, after first contact, just bops it out. It was David Hazelvander on the fumble recovery.
So now that's the 3rd turnover by the Cougars offense. We've seen the interception from Jacob Redmond in that first half, and then now 2 fumbles, and just really costing the Cougars here in the 4th quarter.
So Castle will get another chance with this offense, as Odin now the primary back for St. Norbert. Seems they're just rotating who the primary back is every drive, and why not? When you're up by 42 late in the game, give everybody a bit of a chance for get the rock in their hands.
And Odin actually leading the team in rushing yards, 11 attempts, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns, averaging about 13.5 yards per carry. He's doing some solid work.
Oh, when you crank out a 75-yard touchdown run, that's going to boost your numbers quite a bit.
Bump up the average, yeah.
As Green Knights get the calls from the sideline. 8 seconds to go on the play clock as Castle checks things over one more time, hands it off to Odin, and you'll be able to pick up a couple more.
See that St. Norbert only has thrown the ball 7 times in this game, but the running game just working so well for the team. 336 yards for this Green Knights offense, just getting it done in all facets of the run game.
3rd down and 3 on the Cougars 24. Castle with Odin to his right as they're figuring out their offensive line situation. They give it back to Odin. Odin takes a second, finds a hole, and now Odin, he's off to the races. Touchdown, Patrick Odin again. Another touchdown for Patrick Odin where he stops and waits a second and then goes. And that's going to make it 55-7, 9:38 left to go here in regulation.
I think Odin's trying to make a statement that he should be one of the rotating backs for St. Norbert. Now, he is now up to 182 rush yards and 3 touchdowns, and we see just the poor tackling job by CUC. I mean, Odin went straight up the middle and bounced off several tackles on his way to the end zone.
So Patrick Odin up to 182 yards and 3 touchdowns, as we can see the replay on your screen now. It's just he hits that front line, stops his feet, waits a second, and then as soon as he sees a hole, he busts through it. And that makes it 56-0 now after the Mosley extra point. So we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network. The Cougars trailing the Green Knights 56-7 in the final quarter of home football action for CUC this season. And Parker and I will be back with you on the Cougar Sports Network in just a second.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago? Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you tuning in today's game.
.938 left to go in regulation as the Cougars get set for another kickoff return. Troy Prattley already waves fair catch, plays it off the bounce, as they'll set up on the 25-yard line now.
Let's see how the offense responds after the sincere best fumble on the previous CUC offensive drive. Just not a lot going well for this team here against St. Norbert.
Well, looking ahead a little bit, CUC on the road the final 2 weeks of the season. November 4th, they'll be at Wisconsin Lutheran College. That's a 1 p.m. start time, and then they wrap up the season on November 11th, 12 p.m. game at Rockford University. So following today's conclusion of the game, they'll have 2 more chances to make some noise here in the 2023 season as we see a flag go out on the Cougars. And so they're going to be backed up before their first snap of the drive. Need to see what the official calling is. They were caught on an illegal formation earlier. Could see something like that again. As Bosch hands it off now to Garcia. Garcia making his way up the field. So Jordan Garcia getting his chance in the spotlight here, number 24 in gold.
And Garcia just has excellent vision, and we see right there just finding a crease and picking up as many yards as he can. A good run from the junior.
2nd down and 10. Illegal formation was the official call on that penalty. Not the first time we've seen that from the Cougars offense today. As Garcia gets another handoff here. Smothered up, however. Number 34 on the tackle in Bo Allison.
And St. Norbert has just done an excellent job of setting the edge all game, not allowing the Cougars to bounce anything outside. And we see it right there from the run from Garcia, just goes nowhere.
So CUC 3rd down and 10. As Bosch sends the receiver out, one to his left and then two to his right. As he's looking downfield now, Bosch finds Garcia, and Garcia gets nowhere thanks to the tackle from number 58 on St. Norbert. That'll bring up 4th down now, the tackle by Ben Haney, a junior out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. And because of that tackle, 4th down and 9, 7:24 left to go in the game as Troy Prattley gets set for the punt.
We see Bosch wanted to potentially take a shot downfield, just nothing opening up for him. He had to dump it off to Garcia, and then now we're getting the punt from the Cougars.
Couple favorable bounces on Troy Prattley's kick, and it stops rolling at the St. Norbert 34-yard line. And kind of a weird thing, Parker. I mean, you always are looking at like, oh, who's under center for the opposing team. But in this case, you're more looking at who's the running back, just the way that they've always used one running back per drive, essentially, besides the opening of the game where we saw a fair use of Zuleger and Kudik. But since then, basically every drive has been dominated by one running back, and it seems like the man who they're calling on for this drive is Chris McCartney.
He's done some good things here in the second half for St. Norbert for sure.
Now, he won't do anything there as he's tackled for a loss of roughly 2.
See St. Norbert playing with their backups the majority of the second half. CUC still having their starting defense out, but nice job by that defensive line getting penetration through that Green Knights offensive line and really stopping that run from McCartney.
2nd down and 12. They give it back to McCartney, waits a second, but he's brought down by number 99 of CUC's defense. That is Austin Jackson. As we are just past the 6-minute mark left in the 4th.
Jackson, the sophomore out of Addis, Louisiana, hasn't been called upon too many times this season, but when he gets his chance, making an impact play for the defensive line.
3rd down and 14. They hand it back to McCartney as he's able to pick up 2 yards. Green Knights content here, just running out the clock a little. And now they'll bring out the punt unit. As they can run this all the way down, way past the 5-minute mark. 5:10 on the game clock, now 16 on the play clock. As back to punt, new punter, it is number 49, Dylan Anderson. His punt takes a couple bounces. CUC just going to let it roll. It rolls all the way within their 30-yard line. So
St. Norbert not having to punt a whole lot today, so one of the few times that they've punted this afternoon back to the Cougars.
So CUC gets set for another drive here, one of their likely final drives of the game, as we're getting to a point where if St. Norbert gets the ball, they can just run this one out. They got their hefty lead here of 49 points. 4.5 to go in the fourth. The clock is running. As Bosch takes the snap, rolls it out, and he tries to find a man, and he does. Marion Glover reels it in, his first reception of the day.
We see what happens when Bosch is able. He's so good at throwing on the rollout. We see what happens when he's finally able to get the edge. He's able to find Glover back inside, sitting on the curl route, fires a bullet in there, and picks up the first down.
1st and 10 for the Cougars, now on the 39-yard line. As Bosch hands it off to Garcia this time. Jordan Garcia trying to find a hole. He's smothered up. That'll make it 2nd down and 9 now. As we have 3.5 minutes to go in regulation.
So 2nd and long. Saw the run on that last play by CUC, but Bosch is getting it done through there. 7 of 12, 81 yards and a touchdown. Expect to see CUC let him air it out a few more times on this drive.
And Bosch, over the hands of Marion Glover, pulled out the vertical to try and go up for it. Just could not reach it. And because of that, that'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Cougars.
Looks like, I'm not sure who that pass was intended to. It looked like it might have had a chance to go to number 39, Jaden Taylor, who's listed as a DB on the roster, but due to a few injuries in the receiving room, that's forcing guys to have to play both ways when we see Taylor lined up out there at receiver.
3rd and 9 for the Cougars now. Trying to get something going in what could be their last drive of the game. They find Glover, and he's wrapped up. Glover trying to pull his man with him. Doesn't get far. In on the tackle was number 14. That is Robert Godert, freshman out of Plainfield, Illinois. And that'll bring up a 1st down.
Nice job by Glover, really dragging the defender with him getting that yak yards after catch. Really nice job by him of picking up the 1st down.
And now they find number 39. That's who we've been talking about. And for the Cougars, as Parker mentioned, Jaden Taylor. They're going to say it was an incomplete pass, however. So next it's 2nd down and 10. And now Bosch, he goes to Glover again. He reels it in again. Marion Glover putting up a nice performance in the 4th quarter.
Nice throw by Bosch. We see Glover running the wheel route, and you had the corner stacked on top of him. Nice recognition by the freshman quarterback, putting it on his back shoulder, picking up a huge chunk of yardage. And Marion Glover having a really nice drive. He's had a few receptions on this drive alone.
Marion Glover is now the leading receiver for the Cougars with 33 yards. As there's 1:56 left to go on the clock. Bosch, and he'll go again, this time to Taylor. Taylor, he brings it in, his first reception of the year. As Parker is mentioning, the converted defensive back, number 39, brings in his first completion, and the Cougars now in the St. Norbert red zone.
And Bosch just brings a different element to this offense. Coach Lambert's mentioned several times that they love to run the quarterback, but when Bosch is in there, they're going to throw the football, and we see it's being effective for him late in this ball game.
Garcia unable to escape the pressure in the backfield. The main perpetrator was number 5, River Nicklaus, a 6'2", 210-pound senior out of Woodruff, Wisconsin, a big boy up front for St. Norbert.
Colton Bosch now he's well over 100 passing yards, 130, 10 of 17, and the touchdown. He's looked very solid in this second half when his offensive line has given him a chance.
And now he's going to keep this one himself. He's wrapped up in the middle. So the QB keeper picks up a few yards. It'll be 3rd and 9 as we are under 40 seconds to play right now. CUC has to at least get one more snap off. I'm sure they would love to get another score here, really have something to build off of going into next week against WLC. As Bosch takes the snap. And the pass is up. I'm not sure if this is going to be a fumble or an incomplete pass. See what the referees rule. I believe they're going fumble. They are. Turnover, St. Norbert, just to cap off the day. The 3rd fumble lost by the Cougars offense. As you can see the play here, Bosch kind of in his throwing motion, but lost it before they really said it was a throw.
Looked like he got blindsided, and they ended up ruling it a fumble, but that was just a slip up by CUC's left tackle, allowing Bosch to get blindsided and jarring the ball loose.
17.4 seconds left to go in the game, as I'm not going to be surprised to see victory formation here. All they got to do is take a knee. Castle does take that knee, and that will do it from River Forest. The final home contest of the 2023 season for the Cougars ends in a 56-7 loss to the St. Norbert College Green Knights. As we look over some of the final statistics from the day, the passing leader turned into Colin Bosch, the freshman having a very nice appearance in his second half of action. 10 completions on 17 tries, 130 yards, and a touchdown. In terms of rushing, I don't think we can overstate how impressive the St. Norbert rushing room as a whole was. Patrick Oden, 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. Owen Kudik, 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dylan Ziegler, 45 yards and a touchdown as well. And then in terms of receiving, it was a Marion Glover, 33 yards on 3 receptions and bringing in the only receiving touchdowns of the day. Gabe Dace for the Cougars, and then Hunter Thiel with that highlight reel catch to bring in the lone receiving touchdown for the Green Knights, who, despite scoring 56 points, had just 44 yards of passing offense, 360 on the ground. But Parker, final home contest here. Kind of a sad event up in the booth. The last football broadcast we'll get to call this year, but just kind of give us your final takeaways on this final home game.
Well, for the Cougars, not a lot went well, if we're being honest. But what did go well was when Bosch entered the game in the second half, and we thought with the way Redmond performed in the first half that we might get a quarterback switch, which we did. But Bosch looked very solid when the offensive line gave him time to throw, and even when he was on the run, being able to let him get outside to the edge, but the Cougars allowing him to air it out, they had some success. So that is something to build off of going into the final 2 games of the regular season.
So that'll do it for the home portion of the Cougars 2023 schedule. I want to say thanks to everyone in making this Cougar Sports Network production possible. Our spotters for the day, Chandler Kerr, Wyatt McLaughlin, and Dave Dimeling. Amaya Martin handling participation on camera. Jessica Gang Janie Turnez and Rafael Gonzalez. Our producers for the day, Emily Balvan and Sydney Lloyd. Sebastian Miller floating around taking photographs. The scoreboard was run by Ashley Schroll, and we were under the direction of Cindy Ploskis-Lahar and our sports information director, Kayla McLeod. But one more time, Cougars fall in their final home contest of the 2023 season, 56-7 against the St. Norbert Green Knights. They'll be on the road next week at Wisconsin Lutheran College. That'll be a 1 p.m. start time. Coverage for that contest can be found at our website, cucougars.com. But until next time, this is Peter Borkowski and Parker Kelly signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.